When I got called up, I wasn't exactly expecting the call. I was hanging out around the clubhouse because my now wife was coming in late into Memphis. And so I just happened to be there, and my manager called me in. I was only hitting like 240, 245 at the time, starting to kind of climb. And called me into the office, told me to sit down, and said, you know, we're gonna have to get you out of here, and or we're making a move, something like that. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm getting demoted? Like, I've never been demoted before. I just felt sick to my stomach, you know? And coincidentally, I just gotten out of the shower when he called me in, so I just had a towel on. And he's in his long johns, and he says, congratulations, you're going to the big leagues. We're getting you out here tomorrow morning to Houston. And goes to give me this big bear hug. And I don't even believe him. He gives me this big bear hug, my towel drops, and we're there arm in arm, chest to chest hugging. And so it was like the best awkward moment ever.
I mean, usually when I call them in the office, it's usually something. It's either something good or something bad, you know what I mean? So they, a lot of guys, you know, nowadays with the internet and everything, they watch the games, they see, okay, such and such got hurt. All right, who could it be, you know? Every now and again it's a surprise because it might be a pitcher that gets hurt and they might ask for a position player. But for the most part, they kind of have an idea of what's going on. But, you know, but it's still a joy nonetheless to actually get that confirmation and know that, okay, it's me that's going up there, you know, to the major leagues for the very first time. It's a special thing.
One of my good friends, Alex Yarbrough, who was here earlier this year, him and I both were playing ping pong at like 11:30 at night after a game, and we were still in the locker room and playing ping pong, and got done and went to my locker and had a missed call and from a Texas number, and I was like, I wonder who that is. And manager Dave Anderson comes walking by and he's like, hey man, I just called you. And I'm like, for what? He's like, come in the office. And I sat down with him, and he was like, hey man, you're going to the big leagues. And I was like, no joke. And he's like, yeah, you're going to the big leagues. And coming from the struggles I'd had the past couple of years, it was a very surreal moment. I went outside, called my family, and had to rush home. And Alex and I lived about 25 minutes south of Sandy. And the whole way home, you know, I told my parents not to tell anybody yet, but they obviously did. And my phone was blowing up, and I didn't sleep maybe 2 hours that night. I mean, you know, I had to pack all of my stuff, and finally was able to lay down, but it wasn't like I was going to be able to sleep. So did that and woke up super early, went to the airport, and landed in Anaheim. So.
I remember I was taking a nap in AA, and we were done with BP, and for some reason my manager comes in and he's like, hey, you got to go throw a bullpen, which I thought was odd because we had like 3 hours before game time. I was like, no, I don't. And he's like, yeah, you have to go. I was like, all right. So I kind of got my stuff, ran out there, and kind of go through the motions. And your pitching coach is like, no, I need you to give me like 20 pitches. It was funny. I was just like, why? And he's like, just do it. And I was like, all right. And about halfway through it, he starts giggling. He's like, all right, not too hard, not too hard. And I'm like, what's going on? So I finished up. He's like, all right, go call your mom because you're going to the big leagues. And I remember laughing. I was like, I knew it. I was like, why'd you make me throw a pin? He's like, we had to make you. He's like, you're going. Flight's out tomorrow morning. It was awesome. Day game. Couldn't have been happier.
Rice, our pitching coach, he came up next to me. I was not doing anything that day, and he said, hey man, you got red cleats? And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, you need red cleats when you pitch up there. And I'm like, oh, you're kidding. And it was it took a while for it to set in, because I mean, I've been waiting for that for a long time. And yeah, it was everything everything I expected. Yeah, it was during the game, and then right at the end of the game, they made it 100%. They told me, so immediately I called my dad. That was the one phone call that I've dreamed of making. Yeah. And it was a Saturday night, so my dad had some buddies over, and they were in the backyard, and I heard him, like I told him, and he just dropped the phone and started crying. I'm an only child, so my dad is all about my career. My dad, my mom, my family, they're all about my career. So I was really happy. I was actually more happy. I was happy for myself, but I was so happy that I got to do that for them. That's been really my dream, is to do that for them. So it was awesome.